is about and real self-sacrifice and being a responsible adult. I grew up very fast, but I don't regret any of it. He inspired me to go to school. He inspired me to become an actress. I worked very hard to take care of him. It was because of him that I finished my pre-med degree. And my son Chris is 23 years old now. I find it ironic, not really, actually, that he was born on January 22nd, which is the National Right to Life Day. I kind of think maybe it was a telltale sign of what I would endure later. I was 16 weeks pregnant with my son Michael when they did the alpha-fetal protein test. And they told me that the protein levels were way too high and that more than likely my child had spina bifida. And I was advised that the best thing that could be done would be to have an abortion. And this was absolutely horrifying to my husband and I. Here, you know, I thought I had done everything right this time. I was married, we tried to have the baby, I was very excited about the baby, and now I was faced with this horrifying choice to abort the child. I was already able to feel this baby move. I was already able to feel this baby respond to my voice. I could calm the baby down by petting my stomach and talking to the child. I could feel the baby respond to maybe a sleep position he didn't quite like, and, give me a nudge or whatever. So, of course, in my heart, I began to, wonder, what would this baby feel when he's being taken out? Would he understand why this is happening? The sad thing is that I actually believed those doctors. I actually believed that this would be the more humane thing to do. But I'm also very thankful. I thank God that just probably out of desperation, my husband and I demanded another test. And we took those results to another doctor who said there was nothing wrong with the baby. And my son Michael is 16 years old this April. And he's one of the greatest joys of my life. Now, our boys were 18 and 15. Much to my husband's excitement when I found out I was pregnant again. And what had made this even more joyous was that I had just been signed 3 weeks prior to a 5-year contract on very high-profile show, Melrose Place. And I was going to play Heather Locklear's nemesis and compete, for the guy and all this. I was very excited because when you go to a show like that, it immediately launches you into prime time, and you can get all kinds of films and big endorsements. So it was a major turning point in my career. I called my manager to tell him that I was pregnant and that we should let them know, because I knew many actresses, on other shows that the pregnancy had been played out or hidden or whatever. But when my manager called this particular show, they kind of hesitated and they weren't very happy. So my manager came back to me and he said, they don't think it's going to be such a good idea, and they're going to talk to us in about a week. And I thought that was quite curious, that they wanted to give me about a week before talking to me. And I found out later what that week was for. That week was for me to go get an abortion. And when I didn't go get it, I was fired from my contract. I suppose some may view the fact that abortion is legal as a right to demand it out of sheer convenience. But it really is a dangerous thing when an employer can tell a woman that now she has to choose between her job and her child. I did fight the case, and I did win. And it was more about that I wanted other women. Thank you. I wanted other women to have a platform to stand on if this happened to them. In fact, I heard a great story from a woman who was the manager of a Walmart. Now, see, it's not just in my business, it's everywhere. But this woman was the manager of Walmart, and when her higher-ups found out that her pregnancy would be in about the 8th month around Christmas season, they told her they were going to let her go. And she said, "Can you say Hunter Tylo?" And she kept her job. I was very happy about that. So anyway, from that pregnancy, I got two wonderful things. I got my beautiful daughter, Isabella. She's 7 now. And I also started, from that lawsuit, I started a charity called Hunter's Chosen Child, and I try to help with whether it's funding teen pregnancy homes, or we have helped women who have had trouble in the workplace find attorneys and get help at the EEOC or whatever it is. We try to keep our mission statement as broad as possible. So two good things came from that. Now, most of you may have heard about my other daughter, Katya, who I was 8 months pregnant with during the trial that I was going through with spelling. And actually, no one even knew I was pregnant with her until I told them so from the witness stand. But little Katya was born about a month after the trial was over. And she was born with a rare form of eye cancer called retinoblastoma. Now, this is the only cancer that begins in the womb. She was only 2 weeks old when I realized something was wrong with this eye. It didn't quite dilate the same as the other one. Both eyes were affected, but one was worse than the other. So we had taken her to a pediatric ophthalmologist who did indeed tell us that she had cancer in both of her eyes, and one eye had 85% full of tumor, and it could travel on the optic nerve and go to the brain. So he told us we would have to have her eye enucleated, and she would go through weeks, maybe months, chemotherapy. Our family went through a lot. We would watch this little child in the hospital. She was ravaged by these medicines that were meant to save her life. And there was a moment when I just couldn't help but wonder, I wish I could have spared her this. You don't want to see a baby sick. Nobody does. I was wondering, what if I could have known that maybe this was growing in her while I was pregnant with her? And then I said, well, that test about my son was wrong. And I had to come to grips, to terms with myself. Would I not have given